Hi there, class. This is Ryan Conrad for Project Management, and this is my Changeover Initiative project. Explanation of my project. The project that I chose revolved around creating a new process at my work, Crown Cork and Seal. The project was called Changeover Initiative, and it aimed to improve our efficiency, spoilage, and quality by introducing a new innovative approach to conducting a changeover. Why I chose this project? I chose this project because there has been a growing issue within my organization with our changeover process and the results that it has been yielding. For weeks before this class, questions have come up about what has been causing our high changeover times and high spoilage during changeovers. When first being hired as a supervisor, they brought me on knowing that the changeover processes were a specialty of mine. Therefore, I chose this project because I am passionate about making these improvements and I have wanted to make these improvements for quite a long time. How did we start? Like any project, we had to have several meetings to identify what our goals were for the project and a timeline for accomplishing these goals. In the first meeting, we had all of the heads of the departments involved so we could brainstorm the best ways to initiate a new changeover process. We then reviewed the previous processes that were currently failing us. After we identified where the issues were, I proposed certain tweaks to the processes to improve it and make it more efficient and cost-friendly. Once we identified a clear goal for this project, we then produced a solid work breakdown structure. This acted as a roadmap for our project. And once we agreed to a work breakdown structure, we then created a network diagram to show us what tasks needed to be completed in order to move on to the next tasks. This helped us stay on track to finish the project by our deadline. This is a work breakdown structure that I created. It's titled Changeover Initiative. First, we started with a needs assessment. We went through this in the first meeting where we reviewed the processes, our SOPs. We identified pros and cons, and then we worked on selecting employees that we're going to trial and train under the new process. We then developed a new plan where we defined objectives, the possible risks. We brainstormed ideas. We planned, we budgeted, and we approved to go forward with the plan. Once we had our plan, we reviewed our old training methods, the pros and cons. We created a new training plan. We approved it. We selected the employees finally to train, and we signed off for the initiation. And then we went on to the trial stage where we initiated the new plan. We created new SOPs. We had classroom training on the new processes. We communicated our expectations and our objectives. We had expert analysis, and then we initiated the on-floor trials. Lastly, we had our supervisors monitor and HR throughout the trials. They collected data. They identified pros and cons. We rectified any cons. We improved the necessary areas, collected more data, and then we finally started to implement through the entire plan and communicate the successes and unknown successes that we collected data on, and now we've signed off on the project. Once we used our work breakdown structure, we created a network diagram. This highlights the critical route to take in order for each task to finish before the next task can begin. And this led us all the way to our finish project, and it showed us any leftover time that we could have had from previous tasks that we expected to take longer than they did. So once we initiated the new process, we created an SOP, and then it was time to train and trial. We selected one qualified employee from each crew to learn and trial the new process. We held 2 training sessions to ensure the employees understood why we are doing this and how we plan to accomplish it. We created a process form, which is on the next page, for each employee to follow, so they were all initiating the same process on every crew. We set the expectations high and left it up to the supervisor on each crew to work with the employee and to document and report how the process is working out. This is the changeover initiative training process that we wrote. It shows the pre-changeover process, during changeover process, and post-changeover process. We had each selected candidate read this many times throughout the training, and they actually had this next to their machine while they were following the new procedure. We then documented, and I took some pictures of the new process being utilized by the team members, and it worked out great. Once we initiated the new process and started collecting data from the trials, the numbers were even better than we were expecting. Overall, we wanted to accomplish lowering our changeover times and reduce spoilage while keeping our high quality standard. Right away, we noticed that we actually improved in all three categories. We reduced our changeover times, reduced our spoilage numbers, and improved our quality standard. One thing we didn't account for was the rise in worker morale. We started to notice that the more we invested from the management side in improving the organization and these failing processes, the workforce wanted to invest more effort into their performance. So I included a chart that explains our changeover data from before we initiated the process change to where it is currently in the month of August. May shows that the changeover times were elevated along with the spoilage, and the quality was somewhat mediocre. And then in June, which is one of our busiest months, everything kind of fell apart. Our changeover times went sky high along with our spoilage, and our quality went down. Since working on the new changeover initiative, right away, everything started to change dramatically. Our changeover times cut down by a third, and the spoilage almost a half immediately, and our quality rose. Now currently in August, halfway through August, you can clearly see that everything has turned for the greater good, that our changeover times are back where we want them to be, our spoilage numbers have dramatically decreased, and our quality has actually gotten much better. So overall, I learned that you can accomplish great things while working together in a group. This was my first time putting together and leading a project within my organization, and the results have been not only significantly better, but sustainable as well. I have learned that through project management, you can make lasting changes that will improve an organization for the next generations to come. So thank you for your time. This was my Changeover Initiative project by Ryan Conrad for Project Management. Have a great day. Bye-bye.